I'm often asked while I'm streaming, Brutal, how on earth do I make myself more desirable toward Mythic Plus groups? Or the ever popular, how do I increase my Raider.io score when no one will invite me to their group? Well, in today's video, we'll be going over a few quick tips on how you can start working toward increasing your Raider.io score, and more importantly, how you can become a better Mythic Plus player so that you can be better off in any group that you find yourself in. Let's go. I want to make something crystal clear sooner rather than later. No one owes you anything. No one owes you a chance to prove your worth. No one owes you a spot in their Mythic Plus group. And no one owes you an opportunity to learn how to run a dungeon nearly 2 years after BFA's release. Are you still with me? Good. Because at the end of the day, the only person responsible for your performance and understanding of a dungeon, and by extension, your role within that dungeon, is you. Now, don't worry. Just because you're uncomfortable with a dungeon or you're unfamiliar with a dungeon doesn't mean you can learn. Of course you can. Often the reason people find themselves on the outside looking in when it comes to Mythic Plus is because they expect far too much to be handed or given to them. So here's your first tip in today's video. Form your own group. Yeah, I know. It's a lot more work. And the majority of players don't like the responsibility that stems from being a group leader. I get it. But the easiest way you can guarantee that you'll be running a Mythic Plus dungeon is to form a group from within your guild, an in-game community, a Discord community, or wherever you hang out online with other World of Warcraft players. Pugging, by the way, is perfectly acceptable too. And I'll touch more on this in a moment, but it's okay if you need to invite someone that you don't know. There is no guarantee they'll perform well or mesh well with the group, but it's a risk worth taking when handled properly. If you're attempting, let's say, a 15 Toll de Gore and you need a tank, open his Raider.io page and see if he's tanked a Toll de Gore before. If he has, was it a few days ago or was it a few months ago? Was it a +6 or a +16? Educating yourself on the individual that you're wanting to bring in will save you tremendous headache. And if you invite someone you're unfamiliar with, be sure to recommend Discord, if not require it, so that you can all be on the same page throughout the entire run. This is, of course, just one example of setting yourself up for success. The reason why I mentioned that I wanted to touch on the pugging situation more is that the majority of my successes in Mythic Plus have stemmed from pugging. I do homework on whoever applies to a group that I'm setting up, and more often than not, they do a pretty good job, if not a great one. Beyond that, and here's tip number 2, if they're an exceptional player, or even someone that I just had a really good time running the dungeon with, I immediately place them on my friends list. Speaking of friends lists, go download the add-on Friend Groups. I'll put the link in the description below. This add-on allows you to create groups in your friends list so you can have specific people on a tank list, a healer list, and so on and so forth. Use it and use it often. Anyway, befriend the people you run with. Building a relationship with players that have the same drive and ambition that you do does wonders for your experiences in Mythic Plus dungeons. Don't be afraid to get to know people. It helps. My third tip goes hand in hand with my second tip. Because once you start befriending people, then you find yourself becoming comfortable and familiar with this same group of people. That familiarity blossoms into synergy. If it's your first time running a dungeon with a group of players, there needs to be a lot of communication around what's being pulled or what needs to be CC'd, which target needs to be kicked, and which spell specifically needs to be kicked, and, well, you get the idea. It's a lot to deal with for a fresh group. However, if it's your 5th or 15th or let alone your 30th time running that same dungeon, with those same players, the roles and responsibilities are already known. Everything is second nature. You get to focus on other things more than frantically trying to figure out where this mob is that the tank is demanding you kick or stun, or where this thing is that you need to CC or knock back, and it can be a mess, right? So if you can run with the same people, even if it's a little rough the first few times, it gets better. It gets easier. It also becomes incredibly enjoyable building those relationships with people who want to succeed alongside of you. I highly recommend that you give this aspect, if anything, a try. There are so many pieces of advice that I could dole out about Mythic Plus. How well do you know your rotation? Are you using the right talents, traits, essences, corruptions? Are you gemming and enchanting for Mythic Plus, or are you still gemming and enchanting for last night's raid? You get the picture. This video is but one piece of the puzzle, and it's an important one in my eyes for sure, but it's but one piece of the puzzle. The more that you run dungeons, the better that you will perform in them individually. So taking the time to form a group and befriend players, which in turn could lead to running with them regularly, does wonders for you as a player. I'll be back soon with more advice for Mythic Plus and other areas of the game, but I would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to swing by my stream after watching this video, as we're always looking for new members in our ever-growing community to empower and spend time with. My name is Brutal, and please, feel free to share, and be sure to share this video with anyone you think who could benefit from it. And as always, I'll see you soon.